legit and it is going. So let me go ahead and show you what we're doing. Here is the quilt. Oh, and I might have Vanessa, let me go ahead and pull this over just one second. But I might have Vanessa also. But look at the quilt top for this one. Isn't it magnificent? You guys, look at how beautiful this is. So this was the twin size Onpoint quilt for the that we did, that's made out of the Gingham Girls fabric. And you guys have to give me some advice about the border I put on. I am still not decided about the border and the backing fabric that we're going to use. Vanessa, can you hand that to me? But we're going to use a really beautiful backing fabric on this that I am so excited about. It's this one right here that is one of the Gingham Girls. But I'm thinking that maybe I should have gone with a different border. What do you think? So give me your advice because I'd love border advice. Do you think I should go with like a red border, a blue border? What do you think on there? So let me know. Today we're going to have more giveaways. So what we're doing right now, what today's tutorial is you're actually going to learn how to make this quilt. And we've done a tutorial on this with the bigger blocks of the steps. But boy, this is a fantastic size twin quilt. We now need to layer it and get it quilted, which I will quilt it downstairs, I think on the long arm, just for easy sake, just to simplify things. But this morning, I'm going to show you how to make this quilt actually as a baby size, as a that was the twin size. So the twin size took a kit of a charm pack, a layer cake of the Gingham Girls collection and 2 layer cakes of the white solid fabrics. And so that's what it took. It took 3 layer cakes for that quilt. I mean, is that not so simple? So Vanessa, what was the cost of the kit for that? A full size, I mean, it's the 3 layer cakes. So what is it, like 100?
I think so.
Yeah, it's about $120. Vanessa will look it up. But $120 for that entire quilt top and quilt that's finished. So, but now we're going to actually do this as the baby size, which we're working with the 5-inch charm pack of the Gingham Girls on this one. So I'm going to show you how to do this. The complete pattern and tutorial is available at stitchesquilting.com. And it is, you can go ahead and go to the website. I will put the link in the top of this. Also, write yes, please, if you just want me to message you that link. So with Facebook, if you'd like to have me do yes, please, then write yes, please, and then we'll instantaneously go ahead and send that pattern to you. And it will be sent through a URL of where my website is, and then you go ahead and it'll send the link and everything to you. So, but it is a free pattern, and the tutorial is really good, and so it should be pretty fun. It should be pretty fun. So we'll see what happens. So anyways, I'm really excited about that. And what I'm trying to do now is make sure that each of the tutorials that we do, that I've got the website and the full pattern and the download, everything is ready for you on the patterns that we're doing, so that you've got a complete pattern download that you can do. You've got everything ready. We have a quilt top ready for you. So we've been working really hard. Oh, Vanessa, should we show them the what we're gonna do, the heart one?
Oh,
yeah, let's show you what is gonna be the next kit. So I have to, we had so much fun making this and designing this. But this is what we're going to do a little bit later this week. I'm not sure which day, but we are going to actually be making this one together live. And it is a big heart quilt. Can you guys see that? Can you see it there? But it's a big heart quilt, and it's kind of hard to show. But it's about, I want to say it's almost about 60 inches by 60 inches.
I think so.
It is about the size of the quilt. And in the middle here, it has a crossword puzzle. And it says, you are, and then there's things like you are intelligent. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually go ahead and stitch around the words that we want. So this will be available as a kit. In fact, Vanessa, we can upload that. I took the pictures for the kit of this, so you can buy this as a kit where you get this one square with lots of other red squares and the white squares to go with it. So this will come as a kit. I'm just not doing the live yet until I have the pattern perfectly written. So this will be coming up in the next couple days. We'll probably have the kit posted for sale. But with it, you'll get everything with it. So we're really excited about this one. In fact, we're going to go photograph it as soon as we're done with this live. And we're going to photograph some other quilts that we're in the process of making. So it's been a lot of fun. We actually have 4 quilts that we have pretty much prepped and ready. I'm just trying to do it so that, you know, like the quilt top, we have one thing to sample and show you. Anyways, let's get down to the tutorial. So remember, when we did this block right here, we used the 10-inch white squares and all of that. So the pattern that's available on the website is actually for both the twin size and the baby quilt size of the On-Point Square layer cake or charm pack quilt. We're trying to keep it simple. So both of these are available online. So the one pattern has instructions for both quilt sizes. So so that is definitely a bonus for you, for, you know, whatever. Okay, so let's get down to this one. And I'm going to take these design boards and move them to the side. And we are using the Gingham Girl fabric by Amy Smart. She has a new collection coming out. So I'm anxious to see that new collection, or have the new collection. I've seen what it looks like. And we're going to make some great things with her new things. Okay, so what we do is we have our charm packs. And so for the baby quilt, you need 3 charm packs. You need 1 charm pack of colored prints, and then you need 2 charm packs of just plain white print, or maybe your fabric that you're using kind of blends more with a cream. Does that make sense? And maybe you'd get some cream charm packs. I did put in the pattern instructions, if you're not using a charm pack and you're using regular fabric, how you would cut that. Obviously for this quilt, you would cut everything in 5-inch squares. Does that make sense for the baby quilt? But for the 10-inch square block, I mean for the layer cake one, I do have specific cutting instructions in the pattern, so that if you're cutting it not from a charm pack and you're cutting it from your own stash or from yardage that you have at home, then you can go ahead and use that formula. Okay, so anyways, I'm trying to make the patterns good for everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this. And so if you share the video, Vanessa, what is everybody gonna win today? Maybe we should win more of the plaid fabric. I think we should do more of the plaid fabric. What do you think?
You think so?
That kind of goes with
yeah, we could do that.
yeah, so maybe we'll do that. So we'll send you some fat quarters of fabric that you'll be doing. So I just pulled out a chunk of these white squares, and on these are the charm pack. So it's a pre-cut of the white squares. So I just kind of picked up a bunch of them, and they lay so nicely together, and they're just already pre-cut, and I don't know, it feels good to have the sizing in there. And I'm going to grab a ruler. All right, so, and the only thing that you have to do for this little pack is there's probably, I don't know, 8 fabrics, maybe 10 fabrics right there. So let's go ahead and let me do this so that you guys can see this on the camera. I'm going to cut these in half. And so I'm going to just do this so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm taking this little charm pack, and I'm just going to cut a diagonal perfectly down the center. And that's it. And anyways, so let me go ahead and lay this down. And I'm going to take my ruler from side to side, and I am just going to do a little slice just right down the center. So I've just got this ruler from point to point. I'm not even marking a line. I think that's one thing that's so nice about charm packs. So there I've got a whole bunch of these half square triangles. All right. So now what we're going to do, let's go ahead and just make this so that you guys can see the sewing machine a little bit better. I will pull it over here so I don't have to move the camera so much. But I am actually going to stitch with a red fabric. And on the red fabric, with a red thread, I'm sorry, I'm going to stitch with a red thread so you guys can see my stitching lines. So let's go ahead and do this. Yes, we are working with a 5-inch. So a charm pack is, do we have another charm pack? A charm pack is 5 inches. And so, yeah, that's a charm pack. Here's another collection as a charm pack. A 10-inch square pre-cut is usually called a layer cake. That's just kind of the language that's used, typically. Does anybody else know any work? Oh, thank you for letting me know I look really pretty. Yes, and I like this lace blouse. Actually, I was looking at I'll talk while I sew. I was looking at old pictures and I saw this blouse and I thought, I should wear that for the video. Okay, so what we are going to do here is we are just going to, so thank you, you guys are so sweet. But what we are going to do, oh, you guys, one other thing. What time of the day do you think I should go live each day? Because I've really had a hard time trying to decide that. Now, we are going to stitch these triangles, the half square triangles, along the charm pack. So if you guys have input on what time of the day I should go live, that would be utterly fantastic. Now, what you want to do is find the center point of your 5-inch square. So I can see that's right there. I'm going to give it a little finger press. We could also mark it with a pin. So I'm going to put a pin right there so that you can see a little bit easier how I am coming about finding the center of your square. Then we're going to take our triangle, our half square triangle that we just made from the charm pack. That was so easy. I was never really, I really like buying pre-cuts because I want every piece of the collection. My time zone is the Mountain Standard Time. So I'm the same time, I think, as Central Standard Time, Vanessa? What time? Because we do, yeah, I'm Mountain Standard Time. I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah. Okay, so now I just found the center of the triangle right there. But what is a good time of the day to go live, to do these lives? And what's really nice is that you can rewatch them. All right, so we've got this right here. I have marked the center point of the half square triangle, and I've marked the center point on the square. Now you're gonna get familiar with this real easily of what your center points are, but it's important that you keep these center points. And so I matched that with the pins, but let me show you another way to look at that. So if I fold these two things in half, I can see that my charm pack is actually matching up and my triangle is matching up there. Can you guys see that? So I can see I'm on the center. So that's a good way to check for your center point. I'm going to throw a pin in there, just one. Now, another thing to remember as you're stitching these is when we cut this, there's not much stretch on the 45-degree angle here on both sides of the charm pack. But since the triangle is cut on the bias, there's quite a bit of stretch. Can you guys see that? On this triangle. So you want to make sure that when you're stitching this, you're not allowing this fabric to stretch too much. How is everybody doing, and what is your weather like? We still have hardly any snow here in Utah. It is just so bizarre. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this, and I'm going to stitch it at a 1/4-inch seam. I'm going to change my foot out because I don't have that one in. So I'm just using a 1/4-inch seam foot for my own convenience. If you don't have one, you can mark your sewing machine with some painter's tape or washi tape. So here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and just start quilting on this. What's really nice about this is your triangle, I'll show you that in just one moment. Here, let me show you right now. Your triangle is rather poking out there. You can see when you start stitching, you can actually start stitching out here. So you don't have to worry about the fabric not grabbing right away. Don't you just hate it when the fabric just doesn't grab and it starts kind of digging down? But once again, if your sewing machine is doing that, you can put in a sharp needle. Okay, so here we go. We go ahead and have that one done. I'm going to now put in the next one. I'm going to see if I'm in about the center point because I can eyeball that. And I'm going to string feed these together. So I'm going to just keep string feeding these just to increase speed time. And go ahead and just keep stitching these together. And then that way I don't have to start and stop my sewing machine a lot. I'm sure a lot of you guys do this. Now, in this baby size quilt, we are only doing 35 squares. It's a 5x7 size. Let's go ahead and do a different block. Let's do a red one. It's a 5x7. We're doing 35 squares. So we're going to do 7 rows of 5 blocks across. And that's what we did for the twin size too. Although we did decide to kind of ditch one row, yeah, because it was getting really big on the twin size. But you guys can go ahead and design it however you want to design your quilt and the size of your quilt too. But what's really nice is you only have to really do this 35 times. So once again, if you want the pattern, just put yes, please. In the most of the snow has melted away. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. Yeah, it's just once again, that weather has just been crazy. And where is everybody from? It's fun to see where everybody is actually from. Now on Instagram, you can't put the yes please in there. You'll actually have to go to my website. When you're on YouTube, or excuse me, when you're on Facebook, there's a bot, which Facebook owns Instagram. So why can't Facebook just do this? So here we've got Virginia, but on Facebook you can put, so I have yes please on Facebook and it will automatically send you the pattern. So we've got Texas, New York. Okay, so you can see I've got these string fed together. All I need to do is just kind of snip these apart. And oh, I could have kept them strung together. And we're going to actually now stitch our triangle over on the opposite side of where we just stitched it. All right, so let's line this triangle up. And I thought a cute tip that Vanessa gave was if you've got rather a perfect square right here, you can see the shadow of those 2 white fabrics together. If you have a perfect square, then you're usually squared up with everything in the right spot with your triangle and everything. So let's go ahead and fold this along and I'll just kind of make sure I'm still got that right. So we're going to just go ahead and feed these through and I'm going to show you guys how to, and we talk about this as a triangle that's on point, which means it's going diagonally instead of just horizontally. So we're making a quilt that has these triangles that are on point. I kind of want to show you guys how to actually get the rest of this put together. So let me do this red one, because when we have a contrast in the colors, you guys can see a little bit better there. I'm going to just have confidence that I've got that right. So I've now have my 2 top and bottoms sewn of these half square triangles. So we've got someone from New Orleans, and yeah, but it's too bad Instagram can't do that too, or YouTube. I wish there was a way that I could, well, in the descriptions I am putting, okay, so here we are. We've got the top and bottom to these. We now need to press them open. So let me turn on my little Cricut Easy Press. So I'm going to finish off these 2 blocks. And you guys will know, I think, what to do with the rest of the blocks. But that way, we're just getting down to business. And we are going to use this design board to help me press. We've had lots of people buying design boards. We need to do a tutorial on how to make from the Stitches Quilting store. And what's funny is I use these ones that are like made, they're made by other people. It's so easy to make design boards, but sometimes it's one of those things that you always say you're going to do, but you never do. So Illinois, Arkansas, Oregon, it's really so fun to see where everyone's coming. I'm going to take the Cricut Easy Press and just lay it down right there and go ahead and set my seams. Let me lay this one on top of it. And then we're going to go ahead and press those out. So let's lay these this way, and we're going to press to the dark side. We could press our seams open, but pressing to the dark side rather works. So we're going to press the white fabric over to the red, these little seam allowances. Instead of pressing them open, we're going to press them over to and you need a design board. I know, I actually want to make a whole bunch of design boards, you know, like make them here at the house, huh, Vanessa? We want to make design boards, but we need to run over to the, we have so many more fantastic ideas for you guys. I can't even tell you. Okay, so we have that pressed. I guess I could press the top just for the heck of it. You can see I'm not trying to distort the fabric that we've got going on here with these triangles. So I think I've stayed true to that triangle shape. So that's what it looks like all pressed. I mean, isn't that beautiful? I love these colors with that, just that stark white. I really do. Oh, this baby quilt is going to be so adorable. I don't know who. Okay, so we're going to go ahead like that. I'm going to press this over to the dark side with the Cricut Easy Press because it's just easier to use. And let's go ahead and flip that around. Press it one more time. We're going to sew, we sewed our top and bottom triangles. Now we're going to sew our left and right triangles. So we have the top and bottom, and we're now sew the left and the right. So let's go ahead and get that ready. So remember, I've got my stack of triangles I cut, and I never really started using pre-cut fabric that was just a pre-cut of solids. Do you guys ever typically buy these pre-cuts in solids? I don't usually, but I looked at the cost of the kits, because you can buy this kit at Stitches Quilting, to see if it was cheaper to buy the fabric by the yardage. And to tell you the truth, it was cheaper to buy the pre-cuts of solids. I was really surprised that it wasn't cheaper to actually buy it by yardage. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know. Okay, so I went ahead and sewed that one. So remember, we're just adding a triangle on here. And then I'm going to show you how to join these triangles together. So once again, we do want to make sure that we've got about the center point there. And I'm going to just kind of wing it. I guess I could have some things pre-done, right? Let's move that over just a little bit and measured. But we did just press it. I think it's good for you guys to see the whole process. Okay, that looks really good. Now I'm going to open this back up, and I'm going to stitch this along. It's just right there. So yeah, so I'm really enjoying actually working with these pre-cuts. It's made the making of the quilt actually less tedious. Unless you have a bunch of white fabric or something like that laying around, I would definitely use up your stash. Oh, we've got someone from Canada right now. Can you quilt with polyester and a cotton combo? Yes, you can. So if you think about back in the old days, in the Victorian days even, they had quilts that were actually made out of velvet and all sorts of different fabrics. So yes, you can kind of quilt and make quilts out of just about any kind of fabric. Typically, people use a cotton fabric, but really any kind. You want your fabrics to be similar. If you're going to combine different mediums of fabric, say a cotton polyester and a cotton, you might want to pre-wash your fabrics because they're all going to shrink. And that way the quilt is, I've done some picnic quilts where I did the picnic quilt. We'll have to do that. It's a really great quilt. I'll show it to you sometime. It's floating around here. It's a vehicle quilt is what I use. And then on the back of the quilt, I actually have home deck fabric, which makes it a little bit thicker as a picnic blanket. But that home deck fabric I knew was 100% cotton, so I wasn't worried about the shrinkage. I did actually just today wash or take out of the dryer the quilt that was the half square triangle quilt. And oh my gosh, it looks so pretty. Don't you love after you wash your fabrics, after you wash your quilt, and it all shrinks together? I just love the, you know, how it looks. Okay, so once again, I'm going to just make sure that that my triangle is in the center of the square. And look at this, you can see I'm sewing with the red thread so that you guys can see my stitching, which is going to be, actually took my iPhone 10 to the Apple store and said, look, we got a problem here. And we even showed them our videos that were live. My husband did. He did that for me. Isn't he so sweet? Good, Melanie. I'm so glad I'm not blurry. Okay, wait. I'm going a little askew here. But, so we took the iPhone 10 in because we were like, why did we buy this if we're just going to get blurry videos? So, and they recommended that I uninstall Facebook and reinstall it with the different upgrades and stuff. So that's what we did. And hopefully today it's working good. Okay, so I just kind of went a little askew on there, so I'm going to pick that out. And this is our last one to do, and then I'm going to show you how to join these together. So once again, let's make sure that we've got that centered one last time. And let's put this in here. I tell you, one of the reasons why I love quilting is I love just touching the fabric. I don't know about you guys, but what makes you love quilting? And I love that what I'm making might be cherished and used for a really long time too. It's not just like making a paper card. Does that make sense? Have you guys ever had people give you quilts? Or when you give a quilt to your, oh, I know something I'd love to talk about is when we make a quilt for our kids, I would never leave my quilts as a surprise for my kids. Should I wash all my fabric? And I don't pre-wash my fabric at all. I just use, I know that my fabrics are stable, and you can, I should do just a video on how to see if you should pre-wash your fabric. Okay, so there's our triangles right there, but I don't wash my fabric at all. The fabric and the history of the quilt, I agree. And the memories of things like, you guys, that half square triangle quilt is so special to me. I'm sleeping with it every single night because I made it with you guys. I mean, is that not so silly? But I do. I sleep with that quilt. Even with the needle in it when I was still binding it, I was still sleeping with it. I'm such a silly person, but I finally finished my binding. I kept doing it when I was like sitting with the family and stuff. And I did a hand binding. I don't always do a hand binding all the way around. Sometimes I just machine it. And to get all of these quilts done that we're working on. So, oh, I should be setting these seams real fast. Hold on. Here we go. So yes, this is actually a Cricut Easy Press. Someone asked me, and it is a new iron that Cricut came out with. And you can see it's in a square. Ta-da! And the square on it is, it just gets, it has a temperature setting where you can change your temperature setting. I don't have to worry about it falling over during a video. It has this little caddy that you store the Easy Press in when it's hot and things like that. Okay, so these quilts are now these 2 blocks are ready. So do you see that right there? I've got these 2 blocks right here, and they are ready to now be squared up. So I am going to just use a straight ruler to square these blocks up. And we are going to square them up so they're 1/4 inch from where this joins. This fabric joins the blue, where the white fabric joins the blue fabric. So we're going to do 1/4 inch along the edge so that we can stitch them together. And I wanted this to be very clear for you guys. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to trim this so that I'm going to see if I can see this, reverse like this. So somebody asked me to talk about the different angles on the rulers, because rulers have different angles. There's a 45-degree angle, a 30-degree angle, a 60-degree angle. There's all these different angles on the rulers. So now is the time that we will go ahead. Oh, Carolyn's going to go to the fabric store right now. Too fun, Carolyn. But we're going to line this up with a 45-degree angle right here. Okay? So you can see that's my 45-degree angle on marking on the ruler. Vanessa, you don't have your ruler here, huh? Vanessa, I don't know, her 45-degree angle was not in a good spot for her when she was helping me put some things together at her house. And she actually took her dad's tool.
Oh, it's a...
What's it called?
It's a square. It's
like a square ruler. And she marked with a Sharpie marker the 45-degree angle on the ruler that she was using because it didn't have a really good one as she was trimming down some of these bigger blocks. I need to send her home with some better rulers, huh? Yeah, I do. Anyways, I don't know why. But I thought, how ingenious. So if you don't have a 45-degree angle on your ruler, make one. A carpenter square, yes,
yeah,
Jackie.
An easy square.
Yeah, a carpenter square. So she borrowed her dad's, and it was over here because she showed me what she did, which I thought, I love practical people. Do you guys like practical people? I'm a practical person, and so is Vanessa. So I believe if you just make things work. Okay, so I'm going to use this 45-degree angle, and this is a time when it's useful to have that. But we are going to trim this. So I am going to take, I hope you can see this with the glare of the lights, but I am actually going to take this, it's on the 45-degree angle, let me push it over a little bit, and I am going to trim this so that it is just a 1/4 inch, let me see if I can see that in the camera, a 1/4 inch from the edge of this block. Does that make sense? So when we're trimming the fabric of this block, I just wanted to make sure all new quilters knew that when you trim this, you're not going to trim it and square it up right on the edge of the seam. You're going to give it a 1/4 inch seam there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this. So remember, I'm using this 45-degree angle on the ruler, and I'm going to cut it so we can see that 1/4 inch. And I'm going to do this for both blocks. So I'm going to lay that down. Let me go ahead and just move this so you guys can see a little bit better. So I'm going to lay this down on the cutting mat, and I think everybody can kind of see that. Yeah, I've got it on my 45-degree angle, but I'm going to make sure that 1/4 inch mark is right there. And then we are just going to cut that off. So you can see by having our triangles, this was the perfect size triangles to have. Wasn't it that little charm pack to put these on point? Why the floating angry thing? Who did that? Oh, a floating angry face? Oh, she's gonna go to the fabric store right now. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, okay, so there's that one right there. Now, we're gonna turn this and we're gonna do it again. But one thing that we could do is actually snip off our dog ears real quickly right here. Do you see these dog ears? Let's go ahead and trim off our dog ears so we have less bulk. But we're gonna get a good trim there anyways. Okay, so there we go. So can you guys see that's what it looks like right there? That is what that looks like right there. So we have exactly a 1/4 inch, and this is at a 45-degree angle. Okay, we're going to repeat that now with the other side. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. Because, and there's my 45-degree angle on that, and I'm going to put that just right next to that. I'm also kind of looking on this bottom side. Another thing, I'm going to show you this one last thing, and I think you guys will get it. But on this 45-degree angle, I think I can see that. Let's see if I can see it good enough. On this 45-degree angle, here we are about the 1/4 inch. But I'm also going to see how square am I with this edge that I just trimmed. Let me fix this real fast. Sorry, guys. But I'm going to, let me line this up. Let me turn it this way or this way. Sorry, guys. Okay, so here's the 45-degree angle. You can see right there. I should do this on the little design board. That's right, though. Okay, I'm doing this right at the 45-degree angle. Yeah, let's put it over here so it's on this red edge of that fabric so you guys can see what I'm trying to point out. All right, so 45-degree angle right there. We're at a 1/4 inch seam right here. Okay, and then over here, I'm verifying that my edge of the ruler is consistent with that white line. That this block is going to be a true square, hopefully when I'm done cutting it. I don't know about you guys, but I loved geometry and math in school. And I love thinking about the math of these blocks. And I also love thinking about people that were quilting and that were making things before all this math was just super accessible. I mean, I just think about people like in the Victorian times, or I think about people, so I just trimmed that one off right there. So we've got 2 sides trimmed. We're gonna go over to this side right now, and I'm gonna do this one. But can you imagine all the people that are figuring out the math, or, I mean, how did they do it? What did they use for rulers? How did they cut their fabric so precisely? When you see those antique quilts, how did they cut everything just so beautifully without a rotary cutter? They cut it with scissors, and it's so phenomenal, isn't it? But accurate cutting is what's going to get you. So you can see how this is really coming together as a square. So, Anne, you hate math. I know, but you know what? It's so fun to enjoy math in something like this. Applied math, okay? So we're talking about applied math, not necessarily just figuring out equations, right? This is applied math. I mean, we figure out math when we're cooking, right? Like how much are we going to need for how many people in our house and all of that kind of stuff. So we're just doing applied math. Okay, so here's my square. So that's a pretty squared up on-point square fabric, and I love it with that. It's so much easier to make a flat block or a truly square block when you have things that are already pre-cut and done precisely. And if you guys want to, I actually work with Cricut, and I would really love to share with you guys more of the Cricut stuff, because you see I have the Cricut Easy Press, but the Cricut came out with a new machine called the Cricut Maker. And if you want to, I can do a whole week on using the Cricut Maker for quilting. And it's amazing how so I'm going to go ahead and square up this red square using the same techniques that I've been telling you about. But holy crud, you guys, wait till you see the Cricut Maker in action. I have a group on Facebook that's about quilting and sewing with the Cricut Maker. It's kind of crazy, but we could do a week of just how the Cricut Maker can help your quilting if you want it to. I love the AccuQuilt, but the only problem is that you have to have all those templates. But with the Cricut Maker, it can cut anything that you ever desire out. And so I will, is anyone interested in some tutorials on how the Cricut Maker could maybe benefit you, in some quilting? Anyways, if you guys are interested in that, I could do a week of things on the Cricut Maker. Okay, we've got our 2 blocks. I wanted to have 2 colors so that you guys can see it. Yes, yeah, it's nice to see the Cricut Maker in action and to know, would you really, really use it? Does that make sense? So, yeah, but I actually was one of the first 10 people of the public to actually see the Cricut Maker. They had me go, and we had to sign non-disclosure agreements, and that I taught all around the country last year for Cricut and flew everywhere, all these different cities, and taught 500 women in one day. It was really fun. The Cricut fans are very loyal fans. Okay, so what we're going to do here is now we're going to match these 2 squares together so we can sew them together. And that's what I'm going to review today, is how to sew these 2 squares together. And I think after you have these tips along with the pattern and the tutorial that's on the blog post, I think you guys will be able to make this quilt. But if you have questions, you let me know. So I'm going to use just a regular pin, just a yellow headed pin right here. And I am going to mark where this 1/4 inch seam is, that it's coming out from this back side. How do you guys do this? Yes, hi Dora, it's so good to see you. What shift do you work, Dora, to be on? What day, what time do you work? And any suggestions on the live videos? Okay, so there we go right there. I've got this pin going right through at that seam. I don't know if you can see that, but it's coming out right where the seam of that point is, right there. Can you guys see that? Okay, remember, if you want this pattern, just put yes, please on the comments on Facebook, okay? Can't do that for Instagram and YouTube, but the pattern is on my website. This pattern is called the Onpoint, and the reason why it's on point is because it's, I'll show you in a second. Okay, now I'm going to stick this pin through. Oh, you get off at 3 o'clock, Dora. Fun. Okay, so now I'm going to stick it through the other side exactly where we want those points to match up. So you can see, let me open this up maybe a little bit more. Let me do this one more time. So, and if you guys can share the video, we've got prizes for everybody. So you can see I've matched that pin up exactly where we want these 2 points to go. You will get to the point where you can feel whether or not these are matched up, but this is what I'm doing to get these matched up right now. So I'm going to line them up just real nicely like that. I took the pin out. That was so silly of me. Hold on. And then I will show you. So we'll have this going straight through like that. Does anybody else have other tips of how to do this? And Vanessa, do you want to start getting a list together of people that are going to win today?
I already did.
Oh!
I've already been doing that.
Oh, she's been doing that! Vanessa's been doing that! And we actually have quite a few things to ship. We've had so much work to do. It's been really fun and lots of orders coming in. It's really, really fun. Okay, so you can see I have these 2 squares, the red and the blue. They are pinned together just like that. I have this pin sticking through so I know that they're matched, and I've pinned it on the side. You could pin more if you really want to, okay? But I'm going to take out that center pin because I don't want that to go through. So I'll put that in my little pin dish. And let's go ahead and put this on here. The goal, though, what I want to show you, the goal is, and I'm going to bring this up close to each camera, is that we are going to cross those 2 red points at that intersection. Let me show this on Instagram. We're going to cross those 2 red points horizontally, and you can see the goal is you can see those 2 stitch lines that are going perpendicular at an angle, but we are going to cross straight through. And what degree angle would that be? If that's 45, what's half of 45? I don't know. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stitch that at a 1/4 inch. Take out that pin. And my goal is to go straight across that little line. So you'll see how I'm doing that. And you guys, I am so pleased with how beautiful. Do you guys have any quilting suggestions for this quilt? How to quilt it? How would you quilt this quilt? I've got my long arm downstairs, but we could machine quilt it. You went to a quilt store in Canada and you can't find, the baking templates. Yes, you can order from me and from Canada, and I do ship to Canada. I ship all around the world, let me tell you. So it is sometimes hard, but I do ship just everywhere. Now, can you see how I got that to go right across that intersection of those seams? And then when we open this up, let's see the magic. Let's see, did it work? I'll let you guys see first. It's pretty good. I haven't pressed it. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's lay it down and press it. All right, I'm pretty pleased. So that's how you have that match up. Pretty easy, isn't it? And really, can you imagine all you're making is 35 blocks? That's it. You're just making 35 of these little blocks, and then you sew them together. Okay, so here we go. I might just press that over a tiny bit more. And I'm using red thread for you guys. Normally, I think for this quilt, I would have gone with just a white thread for piecing this quilt. So there you can see how everything's pressed. And look at how beautifully those two squares kiss together. Okay, so no, I did not press that seam open. I could have, but I did not. That would actually be a good place to press open, possibly. But yeah, there's so many things that you can do. Some people complain that when they're long arming, they don't like it when people press their seams open, but I think they're starting to get used to that. So that's what that looks like. But as a general rule, the only time I really press open is when I've got so much bulk that I need to. But whichever way you guys do it, but that would actually be a seam that would make sense to press open right there. This horizontal one right there. That would actually make sense. Okay, and it would actually make the block maybe look a little flatter too. You know what? I think I'll press it open. Very good suggestion. Let's do it. Because you can see when we seam up when we seamed up, I can show you on the big quilt. When we seamed that up together, this is maybe one where you want your smaller iron. This is pretty funny to press open a seam with the Cricut Easy Press. I don't know. I think I need a regular iron for that. Okay. Any questions you guys have for this? So the pattern is online. It's at stitchesquilting.com. The pattern is for both the twin size quilt. And how should we quilt this, you guys? And what do you think about the border? I don't know. I thought that would be a good border, but I don't know if I should go with the red. What the heck is that? Okay, so here is the twin size one. We need to press this. I keep carrying it everywhere with me. Why do I do these things? I don't know. I'm a numbnut. Okay, so anyways, but you can see how this looks as a twin size. So you've got the pattern for both the twin size quilt online or the baby size. So the twin is using the 10-inch charm packs, 1 charm pack of colored, 2 charm packs of solid, all right? And then the smaller one is 1 charm pack of the solid and of the printed, and then 2 charm packs of the solid. So it's not too difficult. I don't know about you guys, but it's pretty good. And this goes pretty, oh, you like the border? You like the border? Do you think a red border, a blue border, but my bordering fabric, where'd I put it now? Does anybody remember? I loved when my son was here.
Right here.
Oh, Vanessa has it again. Here. But this is my backing fabric that I'm using for this twin size quilt. I just think it's so beautiful. Do you think it's so beautiful? I don't know if we'll change the border or not. I should put a picture up like that. So, Jackie, you are just fine that you press open. You're not guilty. There is nothing that's wrong about pressing seams open. It takes more time, and I just don't spend that time. Melanie, I think red might be a better border to go with this too. Don't worry, we are all quilters, but we all do things our own style. And I hope you guys appreciate the fact that when I'm teaching you maybe some things that are familiar to me, but I'm also letting you know there are other ways to do it, and nobody does anything wrong. If it makes you just want to quilt, then that's awesome. And I love to motivate new quilters to start quilting. So sometimes I like to present the not so tedious way in some respects, so that people will just start quilting. And then as they get quilting, but you can see by pressing how beautiful things look. I mean, it really does look gorgeous. Okay, any questions that you guys have for today? Any questions at all? But we reviewed how to make the baby size and how to make the twin size, all right? And I just think they're both really beautiful quilts. I am so excited. Amy is a friend of mine, and she lives here in Utah, and actually her daughter is getting ready to leave on her mission. I was going to have her come and do some live videos with us to teach this quilt to you guys, and but her daughter is such a sweet, sweet person, the girl that designed this fabric. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Let me know what else you guys are going to be doing. If you do, yes, yeah, I do try to take this out of quilting. It just feels good. It makes me feel good. It hopefully makes other people feel good that get the quilt or the item. I know it makes Vanessa feel good. Vanessa.
I like it.
Yeah, she does. Oh, who won? Okay.
These are what we're giving away. We're gonna do some ginghams with the Gingham Girl today.
Oh, good. Okay, all right.
Good glue.
Okay, so we're all gonna throw together some other gingham fabrics since doing the Gingham Girl collection. So, so there's some really sweet fabrics, and then these ones right here. There's lots of fabrics that are here. Okay, so for the Facebook winners, we have Terry Nollhoff, Anollhoff. So Terry, if you're still on, if you could just message me, Anna Tobin, so Tobin, and Dee Dee King. So those are our 3 winners on Facebook. I need to see who is on for YouTube. Let me go ahead and get that out real fast. And but let's go ahead and just check super quickly while we're on. Where's the comments? Or oh, it's so hard to see. Okay, and then and I will find somebody on Instagram and YouTube. I will go ahead and put out. Okay, so that's so that's what we're doing. And you guys have a fantastic day. I hope this quilt inspires you guys to go ahead and make something like this, or make something else. I also, please let me know all the things. I love getting the photographs. Some of you guys have had a hard time sharing your photographs to me. It might be because we're not friends, I don't know, or have a very private account. And it's just quilting a public account that other people can see those things. So that might be why you're having a hard time. But I love to see all your pictures. And I'm actually going to set up another Facebook group so that we can share all of this in the Facebook group too. More of our sewing tutorials and things. So you guys have a great day, and we will see you guys a little bit later. Enjoy making this. Download the pattern for, if you can't make it right now, download it for later, and download it for when you need to do something quick and fast and get it done. And anyway, it's so good to see you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to put a survey up on Facebook, find out when's the best time to actually do lives. So if you guys could let me know on Facebook what you think are good times for lives, that would be fantastic. So you guys have a great day. It's so wonderful to be with all of you guys and to spend time. And I'm so happy, and we will see you guys a little bit later, okay? See you guys tomorrow. All right, well, have fun. And tomorrow we are going to do, hand it to me. We will do the heart quilt. What should we do tomorrow?
We should do the heart quilt.
We should do the heart quilt. Okay.
The
All
heart
right.
quilt.
I got to
Maybe
finish that pattern. Okay. All right, guys. And then I do this other one that's Mayflowers. We have so many cute things. Okay, see you soon. All right, talk to you soon. All right, let's see here. Let's go there. Let's go here. There we go.